Welcome to the Fitness Oracle Daily Show. I am your host, John Katsavos, and today it's Throwback Thursday, and we are going to go back into my past and talk about how working nights at a job that I hated affected me and what I did to get out of that. Now, I'm no stranger to working nights. I kind of used to love it. You know, you didn't have people breathing down your neck. You didn't have upper management always looking at you. You could have done whatever you wanted. It was a little tough because it was usually around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You'd want to go to sleep. You could shut your eyes here and there. But in the long run, it was quiet, not just quiet. The problem with working nights is that what we discussed yesterday with the circadian rhythm, you're throwing your hormones off whack. If you're born in a specific location in this world, your hormones are attuned to the sun, not to the moon. And when you try to live through the moon cycles, you become different. You become weaker. You become more agitated. You're prone to illness. You become unhealthy. When you attune yourself to the sun, you become healthier. You become happier. You become lighter. You become clearer. So there's a big difference between the two. One, you're getting the UV rays from the sun directly. You're getting vitamin D from the sun directly. You're getting all this amazing energy from the sun. You're telling your body, I need to produce cortisol according to the sun. You're not saying, I need to stay up and produce cortisol artificially in order for me to stay up for the rest of the night while when the cortisol levels are up, I have to be sleeping or resting. Big difference. There's a big difference. When I was working nights, the last time I was working nights, I was in my mid-30s, and it really messed me up. I liked it because I didn't want the world to see me. I was embarrassed. I was in a really bad and dark place, and I want to be there. I didn't want to be here. Not here. Not here in Florida, just here on this planet. So I figure, you know what? It's nights. Nobody's going to see me. Nobody cares. So I had that mentality plus working nights and my hormones being out of whack. I had melatonin going through my brain and cortisol at the same time. It was bad. I was in a bad place. And it just kept amplifying and amplifying and amplifying and amplifying months after months after months. At one point I said, enough is enough. So what did I do? I realized around Christmas time of 2014 that I needed something had to change or I wasn't going to be around much longer. And I wanted to see my nephew. At that point, my sister was pregnant with her first, and I really wanted to be a part of my nephew's life. So I'm like, okay, I got to do something to get out of this. And if I'm to find any spouse, I need to change this because nobody wants to be with a security guard that works nights. They just won't stick around. They will not stick around. So, as you know, was it last week where I talked about, how I got out of it, saving 10% of my paycheck. One thing led to another. I had enough money to go to Cuba for 5 days. And I made myself many promises, 2 of them, which were, I'm going to spend a lot of time on the beach. Three of them. Three of them. I'm going to spend some time on the beach. I'm going to see every single sunrise and sunset for the next 5 days. And three, I'm going to see as much as I can from Cuba. I did all three plus a little bit more. That meant I had to go to bed at a time where I would wake up just before sunrise. I would grab my phone, check the app, when is sunrise on this day, this day, this day, this day, this day, and this day. So I would set my alarm clock 15 minutes before sunrise. So you see that crack of dawn. You see darkness and you just see a little bit of a light come out and you're like, whoa, this is so cool. So I did that. And I was like, I wish I could do this every single day. Obviously, I need to work. I need to make some money. I need to live, and you can't live without money. So you need to work in order to make money. But I made myself that promise. That's what got the wheels turning for me, is as to say, when I go back to Toronto, I got to figure out a way to not work nights anymore, because I felt so good being awake during the day. I don't want to work nights anymore. So we all know when I got back to Toronto, I signed up for school. Well, how was I going to go to school if I'm working nights? Well, what I did for 6 months was I would work nights, hop in my car, drive to class, stay up till about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, come back and then sleep. Rinse and repeat for 6 months. It was the hardest 6 months of my life, but it ended me up with a great paying job at a hospital working IT. And I did that from 2016 till 2021, for 5 years. It allowed me to get some clarity. It put me in a proper position where I can move forward in life. And then COVID happened, and then here we are. 2 years later, I'm in Florida. So you see how sometimes, and we talked about this last week, where sometimes you need to step into the darkness, live in your darkness a little bit in order for you to see the light at a different time frame, at a different part of your future. Well, I lived in my darkness for 2 years, and I realized, well, technically it was a couple of months. It was March till January. Well, no, it was about a year and 2-3 months. So I lived in that darkness for a year and a couple of months. And then I slowly, with one little switch, with one little change, I changed my physical environment. I'm saying, I'm not happy in Toronto. Everything's going wrong. I need a break. My break was Cuba. Now, I know I live in the United States. A lot of Americans can't escape to Cuba, but you know what I mean? Like, just go away somewhere, away from where you are. Hop on a plane, go to a different country. Go to a different country. Spend a week there, 2 weeks. And just focus on yourself. Have 2 to 3 objectives and fulfill those objectives. For me, I kept it as simple and as fun and as curious as possible, because that's how I am. I know some people just want to be a beach bum. That's fine. And you're probably telling me, John, I go to the Bahamas. That's not far enough. How is the Bahamas any different than anywhere else in North America? Find a culture shock to you. Find a cultural change to you, something that is not normal to you. I did this again a couple years later. when I was feeling very comfortable in my cushy little job at the hospital. I upped and I left and I went to Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand. If that ain't no culture shock to anybody living in North America and you're not used to that, nothing in this world is. And save for India. And when you come back, you get a different, and when you get back to your home, you have a different perspective of life and a different clarity on where you want to be. So that's the importance. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys, that if it wasn't for that trip to Cuba, I would still be in Toronto working as a security guard at nights. I wouldn't be in Florida, in South Florida, having Vio Fitness back up and running and the Fitness Oracle. Because I wouldn't have made that change. I wouldn't have done it. So it's just one little thing, one little tweak. If you're an American and you're curious about a certain part of the world, go and see it. If you're Canadian, you're curious about going part of the world and you're allowed to go. As we all know in Canada, they're very hard times there. You're allowed to go and see it. Get a different perspective of the life that you're living in a different culture. See how they're living. Compare it to yourself when you get back. Compare your life when you get back. See how is that different? Now you're probably thinking, what are you talking about? You've gone off so far. It may seem that way, but when it comes to rest and recovery, the recovery part, the rest part is you going away from where you are. You're giving yourself a break from where you are, your normal conditioning, your normal environment. Go away. It is very healthy and very helpful for you moving forward. Speaking of moving forward, tomorrow's TGIF Hot Fridays. And we are going to be talking about why getting less rest can be dangerous, can be a dangerous game for your brain. Touched up on this a little bit this week, but we're going to go into it a little bit more deeper in tomorrow's episode. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and share this episode if you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble. If you are listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker, iHeartRadio, or whatever streaming service you use, please give us a 5-star rating and a positive review, as it will help us reach out to more people that are suffering from mental health issues. Before you go, I'd like to invite you to keep the conversation going by signing up to your free account at PodInBox. Over the years, we have discovered that in order for us to achieve the greatness that we're destined for, we can't do it alone. So in order for you to find your place back in this world, we've come across this amazing tool called PodInBox, where we can keep the conversation going and discuss this topic even deeper. All you have to do is click on the link in the show notes and sign up for your free account and find out for yourself how powerful community really is. Until tomorrow, you guys have an awesome day.